Hello there, it's good to have you here on The Last Mixter, and welcome back to the channel for what will most likely end up being one of my last videos, if not the last, on this game. It's been quite the journey so far, and while I have certainly enjoyed covering Primal Carnage, things rarely stay the same, time marches on, and war never changes.
War never changes.
So yeah, anyway, Primal Carnage, Jesus, stay on topic, mate. This is a game that I have sunk far too many hours into, and in the process of such sinking, I may have almost inadvertently drowned. I have played it entirely too much, but for the purposes of this video, that will definitely work to my advantage. Funny how that works. Also, how fitting, in a certain way, that what may end up being my last video on this game is one where I'm talking about why people hate it so much. So, why am I making this video anyway? Well, over the past few months, I have seen various comments on my Primal Carnage videos asking the very question that is the title of this video. Why do people hate this game? Why does it get so much hate? And other similar questions along those lines. I saw these and thought, yeah, I'll make a video on that. Why not? I find it to be kind of a fascinating question, actually, and wanted to give my thoughts on it. An important disclaimer here as well is that despite the negative slant that this video will have, I personally do not hate this game. Have I gotten more cynical about it over time? Sure. Do I think it's an awesome game? Nah. However, this isn't meant to be a hate video trashing the game, because that's not really what I do. I simply want to dive into why I think this game gets the hate that it does, and explain the reasoning behind my viewpoints. So, yeah, just my opinions. I'm not going to be out here going, ugh, Primal Carnage, that game sucks raptor balls, man. I hate it because it sucks. Yeah, that's not why I'm here. Sound good? Alrighty, with that out of the way, let's proceed, shall we? Alright, let's start with reason number one, cause where else would we start? Reason number one, bugs. Nope. Well, yeah, maybe depending on your opinion of this game, but nope. Yep. So, it turns out that Primal Carnage Extinction isn't a very polished game. Go figure.
What? No!
Also, go fish for something in this game that works how it's supposed to. Of course, I'm exaggerating a bit here, but damn, dude, this game just don't always work, rat. I get it, game development is hard, games will never be 100% polished, some glitches are harder to fix than others, blah blah blah. But it starts to get a little silly when you realize that some issues in this game have been around since launch. The graphical glitches that happens after a player dies as one dino class, then respawns as another, have mostly been fixed, but it was a truly terrifying time when that was still a thing. I mean, Alien, Predator, and Doom Guy would all take one look at these things and go, nope, frick that, I'm leaving. Not to mention it took them way too long to fix such a distracting bug. I remember this being in the game for at least a year. I mean, how does this stay in the game for that long?
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Of course, you also have the Raptor Pounce attack, which, well, has this thing ever actually worked properly?
No.
Like, ever? It's a genuine question, too, because I can't remember a time where it has. I mean, can you imagine how lame Jurassic Park would have been if every time the raptors pounced someone, they just bounced off and shifted to the side? Oy, that's awkward.
That's chaos theory.
They have had over 8 years to fix it, yet it's never really happened. It's a bit better now, sure, but that's not exactly saying a whole lot considering for most of the game's lifespan it was borderline unusable. Add in random server crashes, game crashes, copious clipping issues with the tyrants eating hitbox leading to complete bullshit one-hit kills.
Hello there.
Strange bruiser collision in certain areas, map exploits that make the scientist even more annoying than it already is, and the game reinstalling half of itself. Yep, you're left with a hugely flawed experience. Also, something I discovered recently, waterfalls are solid in this game. Yeah, high caliber ammunition is no match for moderately fast flowing water, I guess. Mythbusters would have a field day with this crap. So, with all that being said, does a game having these types of glitches lead to hate? Well, yes. But another thing to consider here is new players that are hopping into the game and having this stuff happen to them. It's not fun, it drags down the experience, and it should have been fixed ages ago. Veteran players may be used to it, but Primal Carnage needs to do more than keep old players around a little longer. It desperately needs new players, so I'll just go ahead and say it. Primal Carnage Extinction still feels like an early access game after over 8 years of existence. FYI, it left early access in April of 2015. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, and probably not, but I'm not sure how else to phrase it. If I was a new player and got eaten by a T-Rex through a roof, or got stuck on something as a bruiser and died, how would I feel?
How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair.
Probably something like that, yeah. I believe these things could have been fixed, but they just weren't. Which makes me ask the question, do the devs care about making the game better? Well, they got a deal sorted out with Sony to bring the updated version of the game to PlayStation, which is great, but the problem here is that the updated game still has these issues. So how will this turn out when it does land on console? I personally don't have my hopes up. I mean, they made a merch shop before they half-ass fixed Pounce.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
To me, that speaks volumes, and in some ways the game is just a pretty skin simulator, and kind of always has been. Anyway, I'm sure you guys can decide for yourselves how you feel about that, but I think the bugs and glitches that this game has been plagued by for most of its lifespan, if not its entire lifespan in some cases, are an easy thing to point to when asking why people hate it. Gamers want a functional, fun game, and when a game fails to be the former, it's rarely the latter. Of course, the core functions that drive the game are essential, and that leads me to reason number 2. Balance.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Coveted words amongst game devs, especially those who make multiplayer games, but something Primal Carnage has always struggled a little bit with. It isn't easy to balance an asymmetric multiplayer game, but at the same time, how many times do you need to nerf the 2 Pandactylus before you realize, hey, maybe we shouldn't screw over the one thing that makes it able to fill a role and do its job properly, that being its goddamn stamina, man. This whole situation where they nerf it into the ground every time it becomes even a slightly better class, I mean, what is happening over there? Flying bonk machines aside, how about the team balance that got better recently? Except not really. It's still really common to end up with atrocious team compositions in this game where one side gets all the good players and the score ends up being 1,000,000,000-3, but it was even worse before they added team sorting after every round. A multiplayer game loses all tension when one side constantly blows the other out of the water. The bulletproof water, that is. Something I have seen people say too is that, well, no game is perfect and you can't have perfect balance. All I can say when seeing these comments is, okay, yeah, but is this what we're going to say every time a game has balance issues? Isn't that completely missing the point? Like, we don't need perfect balance, but good balance is achievable, surely. Again, think about the new players who are playing this game and get gangbanged 5 matches in a row. Would you want to come back after that? I wouldn't. Of course, this is an issue for a lot of multiplayer games and tends to be the reason why I'm first and foremost a single player kind of guy, but that still doesn't erase the fact that it is the problem for Primal Carnage, and once again, has been for a long time. A new player can get past moderate to minor balancing issues if the underlying game is solid enough, but in this case, it's not, and that leads me to reason number 3, the gameplay loop. Now, what is a gameplay loop? Well, it's essentially the cycle of what you're actively doing in a video game. Take Minecraft for instance. The gameplay loop for survival mode at least is spawning in, searching for resources, building a safe house before nightfall, doing your best to survive with the resources you have, getting blown up by a creeper, respawning, rinse and repeat until you reach the nether. Now, as most of you probably know, there is much more to it than that. Minecraft is a very open-ended sandbox type of game, and as such, you make your own goals and decide what you're gonna do. Enchanting, farming, fighting, fishing, crafting, dying, whatever, it's all on the table. The enchanting table, that is. Okay, I'll stop now. I understand Minecraft is a very different game, but even so, what is the gameplay loop in Primal Carnage? Well, you spawn in, you shoot/try to eat something, it probably doesn't die, then you die, and respawn like 8 seconds later. There you go.
That's all, folks.
Thing is, I'm really not exaggerating that much here, and the game is darn repetitive. Nobody plays any other mode other than free roam and team deathmatch. Free roam is a cesspit that you do not want to fall into. I went on a free roam server with my buddy one time just to see what it was like, and it was probably the single weirdest hour of my life. I got the vibe that 30% of the people in chat were furries, 30% were pervs, 30% were both, and the last 10% were just yelling at us for not role-playing right. I mean, you can't make this shit up. You also have Team Deathmatch, which, it's like I said, it's just the same thing over and over again. Minecraft has plenty to spice up the loop, and I think they tried to add a little spice here too, but instead they added baby powder to my curry. What am I on about? Well, they have added various mechanics over time, but a lot of them just feel like gimmicks that aren't fleshed out, and really just end up not being that useful in the long run. I won't explain all of these, cause then we'll be here until Half-Life 3 comes out. However, I did say I would back up my reasoning, so here is a few examples. The Pyro got melee damage reduction by revving his chainsaw as a dino is about to attack, but it's so weirdly implemented that it never gets utilized, and if it does, I never noticed because the dinosaurs attack so fast anyway. He can also set the cryo acid pools on fire. Cool in theory, but it's a giant green pool of fire, so unless a dino just isn't paying attention, it just sits there, looking like a poor man's version of Wildfire from Game of Thrones. The only time I ever do it is for challenges, so then it just becomes an arbitrary thing you gotta do for the weekly challenge. Oh, gotta check that off the list, I guess. This can be said for many of Primal Carnage's little mechanics, put in the game for challenges, but never really used outside of them. And usually I just end up forgetting that half of them even exist, because I never see them utilized. I have seen constant complaints from new and old players alike, struggling to do their weekly challenges, not because they're difficult, but because they're bullshit. There is a difference. The slap in the face here is that like 80 to 90% of the time you get crap skins for doing them, so what's the incentive here, guys? Then, when it comes to the game's maps, they have no interaction except contingency, which, yeah, most people probably know my feelings on that one. No elevators, moving platforms, no vehicles, no items except health and ammo, no barricades or turrets that humans can put down, no special set of abilities and skills dinos can unlock like the sharks in depth. I mean, it took them, what, 5-6 years to make water on the maps extinguish dinosaurs that were on fire when they walked through it? I'm not saying that all of the previous stuff that I mentioned needs to be added, but without some more interaction, there is little to break up the monotony of the moment-to-moment gameplay. In my opinion, this has been the main factor in not only the game's middling mediocrity, but also why some people have ended up despising it, because they've gotten frustrated with the lackluster updates and a lack of change. And unless you really like dinosaurs, you probably won't get much out of this game, and I think the overall repetition has hurt the game's replayability, and by extension, its ability to retain a player base. Speaking of dinosaurs, we have arrived at the fourth and final reason, that being, it's a dinosaur game. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wait a damn minute.
What do you mean by that, the last Mikester? What kind of name is that anyway, you fool?
You fool!
Dinosaurs are awesome, man. You would be right, angrily inquisitive citizen. They are awesome. However, a lot of dinosaur games aren't.
Whoa, elks!
And the communities can be worse. Now, I don't have much experience with most of them, but I've heard some bad things regarding the Isle and Ark, and while Evolution 2 seems to be one of the better examples, Primal Carnage has had its fair share of problems with toxic behavior, as many game communities do, unfortunately. However, dinosaur games always seem to have this weird thing about them where people just can't seem to be nice to each other, and they draw in a really strange subculture of weirdos. I don't exactly know why that is, but if you have an idea or a thought regarding this, providing you know what I mean, let me know in the comments below, because it's definitely a thing. I'm pretty sure, anyway. Don't get me wrong, I've met some lovely people through the game, and I'm grateful for that, I am. But I've also been on the receiving end of random abuse. Online abuse is nothing new and rather common, unfortunately, so I'm not trying to start a pity party here, but people just need to chill, man. It's a silly dinosaur game, not World War III, yet some people seem determined to start it over this game, and I don't know, it all just seems weird to me. Dinosaur game communities can be awesome, but man, for some unknown mystical reason, they just seem to bring in hateful degenerates more commonly than many other types of games, and that has undoubtedly driven off some people. Anyway, with this final reason all explained, it's about time to wrap up this video. Let me know how you feel about this game, and if you agree or disagree with my reasoning behind why I think this game gets the hate that it does. Thanks to everyone who has watched my videos on Primal Carnage Extinction. I am super grateful for the growth this game has given my channel, and my class guides still seem to be helping people, which is awesome and surprising, to me anyway. Primal Carnage Extinction is not a game that I hate. It's not terrible, but it still remains a flawed gaming experience. If you still enjoy it, awesome, I'm happy for you. But it's a game that's on its last legs, and for me, it has finally run out of steam. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this look at Primal Carnage Extinction, even though it may have been a bit on the negative side, then I have plenty of other content on it for your perusal, stuff that's a bit less negative, and if you did enjoy this video, consider giving it a like and subscribing. The support for the channel is always appreciated. Much love, take care, and until next time.